Ohio. I have with me today the demo for Oninaki, and I'm gonna go ahead and share my thoughts on it because I have thoughts and opinions and other stuff of the sort. But anyways, so Oninaki, if you're unfamiliar with this, it is the third studio game. I was gonna say album, the third studio album. No, it's the third studio game by Tokyo RPG Factory, and Tokyo RPG Factory kind of gets a little bit of slack for their name and the type of games that they come out, that they feel too assembly line and that they feel certainly like a factory made game, you know, for mass production, that it lacks any soul. And certainly you can kind of see that train of thought. I get it. These games feel very very hollow in a lot of senses, and I don't blame that type of comment. I understand where it comes from. But anyways, Oninaki is now the third one. The first one was I Am Setsuna, which I played some of. It was okay. It was a game to pass the time. And then there's the second one, Lost Sphere, which I did not touch. And now I played the demo for Oninaki. And it has the aesthetic that the I Am Setsuna game has. It feels better, like at least when you're looking at the visuals, it looks more like more effort was put. I don't know how game development works in general, but it feels like they have more room to work with on their third title than their first one. But then it's also like it is the first one, and you know, you gotta make something to get good, right? You don't just make something good out of thin air. It's all a learning process. So Oninaki, let's go ahead and talk about the gameplay first. Their previous games, I Am Setsuna, it was a turn-based game, kind of in the model of Chrono Trigger, but by no means, because it was modeled after Chrono Trigger, doesn't mean that it is to be compared with Chrono Trigger, because Chrono Trigger's up here, and I Am Setsuna was down there. That sounds really mean, and I don't mean it to be, but it's just, it wasn't, I don't know. I say this because I've seen reviews of I Am Setsuna comparing it to Chrono Trigger, and that felt wrong. I did not like that. Yeah, I Am Setsuna was a type of turn-based type of game. Not really in the traditional sense, but more like Chrono Trigger, where you had to wait for the things to load up before you can attack. Oninaki goes for the action RPG type of gameplay, and it still has like that little wind-up thing where you have to wait for you to be able to use your moves, but in the meantime, you can pretty much button smash through pressing Y. And then through the use of the skill tree, you can assign other attacks, kind of like the same way that you would in I Am Setsuna. But you just have to wait for it to wind up or to load up, or kind of like how I was explaining in the Mana video, where you have that little gauge and you have to wait for it to fill up, and you can press B, and then you can assign other ones to X, R, and ZR, and that's through the use of the skill tree. But I think that the skill tree is a little bit convoluted, a little bit difficult to use and to kind of get used to. But nonetheless, that is that's how you battle. But you're going to be button smashing Y a lot of the time, and that can kind of feel a little bit boring. Sorry, I made a mistake. You use B to dash, and then you use A as your first skill, and then X, and then R, and then ZR. Sorry about that. But yeah, so that's kind of the gameplay. It feels a little bit hollow in that sense. After a while, it kind of just becomes a little bit boring to attack, and I don't think that should be. I don't think that you should be feeling that when you're playing an action RPG game. I think that battling should probably be really engaging, and you should be wanting to have fun grinding or leveling up. But with this one, it's just like you're just pressing B over and over and over again. And then there's like some other stuff that makes it a little bit more intuitive and more interactive, but it's just not really there. It's not. I don't think that it is maximized or optimized to its full potential. I think that it's lacking in some aspects there. But the story or the presentation or the gameplay, I mean the story was, it's interesting. I think that the best way that I could describe this, it's probably kind of like a take. I don't know. I wouldn't want to say a take, but it reminds me of Noragami. The anime and the manga, you know, like in the anime, Yato, he's a god, but here you're just a person who has his job, and they could communicate with people of the spirit world. In Noragami, Yato makes a bond with, you know, with Yuki, and then like there are other gods who also have bonds with other former humans who now belong in the spirit world, and they have no recollection of their past lives. It's kind of like that here. You're a watcher, and your job is to help people who are in the spirit world cross over to the other side so that they can reincarnate and become human again. And then you use that through the help of these things called daemons. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but the daemons are also humans, kind of similar to Yuki in Noragami, and they have no recollection of their past lives either, and you use them as weapons. Also, it's kind of like the blades in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where they have no recollection of their past lives, and they're just kind of weapons that you use over and over again. But you can bond with them, and you can get to know them and level them up and have multiple ones, and that's, you do the same thing in Oninaki just as in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and then it also in Noragami. But I really felt some like it was kind of like Noragami. The main character, he's kind of a no nonsense type of edgy guy. I don't know why he is the way he is, but the story of the game, it starts off with the main character. I can't remember his name, but his childhood friend is Mayura. The two of them, they're kids. The main character, the one that you play as, his parents just died, and everyone in the town is in the room just looking at their dead bodies, and the main character goes outside, and he sees this little girl, and just as he's about to find out who this little girl is, his childhood friend Mayura, she shows up, or Mayura, I think it's Mayura. She shows up, and when he's gonna ask the girl what her name is, she disappears, and he doesn't see her again until like 2 events after, well, until the end of the demo. Basically, you spot her again, and then just as you're gonna get in touch with her again, the demo ends. So there's that. But anyways, it's interesting. It's interesting. You tell the tale of your job is to get people to the other side of to help them. And while I would say that Oninaki is Tokyo RPG Factory putting their best foot forward, it's failing to bring the other foot along with it. Meaning that, like I said, I don't think that they maximize on their full potential. An example of this, and it might be a little bit nitpicky, but I think that it's kind of like what separates a game that you're gonna charge $50 with and a game that you're gonna sell at a reduced price. When you're playing the game, you're coming across NPCs, and they label them. Nobody has names except for characters that I guess are going to be more relevant to the plot. They don't name them. So you're on your first mission, and you're with the ghost boy, and they don't give him a proper name. It just says deceased child or something. And then you go on your second mission, and you're dealing with these occult. You're dealing with with people who are from a cult, and they all killed themselves. And you, while everybody passed over, you're dealing with a boy who wasn't able to pass over, and they just named him Occult Child or something very like that. And then there's like NPCs in the world, in the town, that just has like, is like hardy looking man, or tired old woman, you know, little things like that. And I mean, in that case, why would you even name them? Like with the NPCs in the world, I guess I can kind of give it a pass. But with the people who you are telling the story with, like the first one with the boy who died and wants to find his family, you could have given them a name. It wouldn't have been too difficult to just throw in a name really quick, and just so that, because it's part of the story, you're making cutscenes for these characters, and you're having them have actual dialogue, so and interact with the main characters. I don't see it as a, like, it could be interpreted as a way of like how the main character sees the people around him, but I don't get a sense from that. Certainly not in this demo. But like the guy is kind of an edgelord, so maybe, but I don't think that is the case. Like, I don't know. I don't think that the main character is like looking at some woman outside and is like, tired old woman. I don't know. So that's kind of like a gripe that I have with it. Like, it just feels like they couldn't, like they were going in the right direction, but just finished to add that bit of substance to the game. And for that, I don't think that it's worth the $50. I would probably pay maybe $30 or $20 for this game. It's Tokyo RPG Factory. I don't know what to tell you. They're not making mind-blowing games, but it's probably a game for a slow season, which we're not in the middle of right now. We have all these big games coming out soon, so I don't know. Maybe this game could have came out earlier in the year, and I think more people would feel more inclined to buy this. But as of right now, I don't think that this is a game for a lot of people, unless you're a big fan of this studio and you've liked their previous work. That's okay. I don't know. I think that this is probably a game that you're gonna want to play at a reduced price on a sale when there's not a whole lot to play. But a lot of people have huge backlogs, so I don't know. I'm interested in the story just from what I've seen in the demo, but I'm not in a rush to go play it. I don't think that the gameplay was super like it didn't suck me in the way that it probably should have. So that's kind of, those are my thoughts on Oninaki. So yeah, let me know if you guys are gonna play this game. Do you plan on picking it up? Did you guys play the demo? What do you guys think? I'll see you guys all in the next one, I guess. Bye, ciao. Bye, everybody.